For centuries, the power of a navy was measured by the size of its guns and the thickness of its armor. If you wanted to strike an enemy, you had to sail within sight of their coast and hope your shells found their mark. But on a grey morning in July 1918, a bizarre-looking ship named HMS Furious steamed into the North Sea to prove that the reach of a fleet was no longer limited by the horizon. This was the beginning of Operation F7, better known to history as the Tondern Raid. It was a mission that would mark the first true aircraft carrier strike in history. The target was a massive German Imperial Navy airship based at Tondern, in what is now Denmark. These hangars housed the Zeppelins that had been terrorizing British cities, and the Royal Navy was desperate to eliminate them at the source. Previous attempts using seaplanes lowered into the water had failed due to rough seas and engine trouble. To succeed, the British needed to do something that had never been done in combat: launched wheeled fighters directly from the deck of a moving ship. If you're liking this video so far, subscribe and follow Sword and Pen for more military history and technology content. The HMS Furious was the perfect candidate for this experiment. Originally designed as a battlecruiser, she had been modified with a flat wooden deck built over her forward gun turret. It was primitive, dangerous, and narrow, but it was the future. At 0300 on July 19th, 7 Sopwith Camels, each loaded with two 50-pound bombs, prepared for takeoff. There were no catapults and no safety nets. The pilots simply throttled up their engines and relied on the speed of the ship heading into the wind to provide enough lift to get them airborne before they ran out of deck. 6 of the 7 aircraft successfully cleared the bow and disappeared into the morning mist towards the Danish coast. When they reached Tondern, the German defenders were completely caught off guard. They had never seen aircraft appear from the sea in such numbers. The British pilots dived on the massive hangars, dropping their bombs with pinpoint accuracy. The result was a catastrophic inferno. The Zeppelins L-54 and L-60, filled with highly flammable hydrogen, were incinerated where they stood. The mission was a tactical triumph, but the return journey highlighted the brutal reality of early carrier aviation. The HMS Furious had a landing deck on her aft section, but it was so turbulent that landing back on the ship was considered suicidal. Most of the pilots were instructed to fly to neutral Denmark and ditch their planes or find a place to crash land. One pilot was lost at sea, while others were interned by the Danes. They had successfully executed the first carrier strike, but they had nowhere to return to the ship that sent them. The Tondern Raid changed everything. It proved that a mobile airbase could strike deep into enemy territory and return to the safety of the open ocean. It signaled to every naval power on Earth that the battleship was no longer the sole master of the waves. From that morning on, the race was on to build the first true flush deck carriers, leading directly to the massive fleet engagements that would define the Pacific Theater just 2 decades later. The age of the flat top had arrived.